In this quick review, we're going to be talking about annuities. Now, what exactly is an annuity? All right, first off, for most of us, we aren't able to put a large sum of money into the bank today. All right, so instead, we save for the future by depositing a smaller amount of money from each paycheck into the bank. This idea is called a savings annuity. Like for example, if I want to save for retirement, I'm not able to put away a large amount of money now. So what I do is I maybe deposit directly from my paycheck each week, every 2 weeks or monthly. So most retirement plans like 401k plans or IRA plans are examples of savings annuities. So all formal definition here is an annuity is just a sequence of equal payments made at equal time periods. So basically what this is saying is something like, I'm going to deposit $100 a month for the next 30 years, and I'm going to get whatever interest rate on that. And that's going to be what I mean by the sequence of equal payments, equal time. So it's $100 every month. And so the value of the annuity is the sum of all the deposits, so all the money you put away, plus any interest that you get paid back to you over time. All right, so in your classes, you've probably been introduced to the formula for how you calculate an annuity. In this quick review, what we're going to focus on is using your TI graphing calculator to solve these type of problems or any questions related to these. And so to load this up or do this in your calculator, you're going to use an app called TVM Solver. This stands for Time Value Money Solver. And the way you would do that on your graphing calculator is you're going to press the apps button. And when you press that up, it's going to load up all these different applications. Right at the top, you're going to see finance. That's the one we're interested in. So you're going to click that. And then over here, the first thing that after you click finance, the first one that pops up is that TVM Solver. So then you're going to hit enter right when that happens. And now I have two examples of this, and I'm going to load up my graphing calculator for you to see as well for this. When you load up this TVM solver, this is what happens. It loads up all this screen, and it looks like this. And what you have to do is you have to input for many of these, all right? And then you have to solve for one of them. And again, I'll show you how to do this in the calculator. So the first thing here, N, this represents the total number of payments or deposits. So the total number, not just how many you're doing per year, but how many total you're going to do. I, that's the interest rate as a percent. So you don't put it as a decimal. So if something says like the interest rate is 9%, you'd put 9 there. PV stands for present value. Think of present value as how much you have in the account today, how much you have. PMT, this stands for your payment amount. Think about how you would do this like monthly, okay? Like how much you're putting away each month to your retirement account. FV, that's the future value. So that's like, oh, I'm going to save for 30 years. Well, how much will I have 30 years from now in the future? P/Y is the payments per year. So in a lot of these examples, we're going to just do monthly payments or monthly deposits. So that'll just be 12 and compounds per year. So to make things simple here, what we're going to do with compounds per year is going to be like, oh, we put a new account and it gets compounded monthly as well. All right, so I have two quick problems for this. All right. So here's the first one. At age 25, to save for retirement, you decide to deposit $200, all right, into an IRA, so an individual retirement account, at the end of each month at an interest rate of 7.5% per year compounded monthly. Okay? So the first question is this. How much will you have from the IRA when you retire at age 65? Holy cow. Okay. All right, so let's talk about what's given. How much are you going to be depositing? All right, so you're going to be depositing. So looking back at our calculator, the payment amount, how much you're paying each month, is $200. Now you're going to notice something here. I'm going to put minus 200. I'll explain that to you in the calculator in a second. At the end of each month, the interest rate is 7.5%. So that's my I. And I'm telling you it's compounded monthly. So how much will you have from the IRA when you retire at age 65? Okay. So let me grab our calculator here. All right, so the way you're going to solve this, you're going to press Apps, Finance, and it's TVM Solver right here. All right, N. N is the total number of payments you're going to make. Well, look, how many years are you going to do this for? I'm going to start at age 25 and go to 65. All right, so that's you're saving for 40 years. 40 years. But on top of that, you are making monthly payments. Okay, so you're making 12 payments a year for 40 years. You're making 480 total payments. All right, so I'm going to go 480. The interest rate it's giving me is 7.5%. All right, so that's good. The other thing I know, all right, I'm going to leave PV and FV as 0 for now. The way your calculator interprets payment is like how much you're paying into the account. So the way you got to think about it, and why I put a negative here, is it's like I'm losing 200 in quotations. I'm losing $200 a month out of my pocket. So that's why the interpretation there is negative. And I'll show you what happens if you don't put the negative there. It's no big deal. I'll come back to future value later. Payments per year is 12. All right, you'll notice when I hit enter, it changes compounds to 12. Okay, that's good, all right, because it says it's compounded monthly. And then it says, when is your payment made? Is it made at the end of the month or the beginning of the month? And I'm going to do end of month, at the end of each month. All right, so what you have to figure out, what it's asking you is this, is how much will you have from the individual retirement account, the IRA, when you retire at age 65? So what that's saying is, how much am I going to have in the future? That's what I want. How much am I going to have in the future, way out in the future? So this right here, this FV is what we're solving for. Present value is how much your account, think about the way present value is how much you have in your account today when you start, okay? Well, how much I have in my account today when I start is 0, all right? It doesn't start with anything. And I want to figure out how much I have in the future. So you'll notice there's this thing called, if you look down here, solve, right above the enter key, solve. So you're just going to hit alpha to get it and solve. And look, it populates it right there for you. So what this is saying is, in the future, you will have $604,764.43. So the future value you will have in your account was $604,764.43. That's pretty good. Wouldn't mind having that, right? All right, so the next part says B, and it's just this. Well, how much did you make in interest? All right, well, the interest is like how much your money grew, all right? So how much you made in interest, it's the future value minus all your deposits. Well, look, I know when I went to go to retire at age 65, I have $604,764.43. Well, how much did I deposit? Well, I deposited $200 monthly times 12 for 40 years. So let's see what we got. So I'm going to take this amount and I'm going to subtract away. I made $200 every month for 40 years. Look at that. Look at that difference. Most of my money, over $500,000, came from interest. This is about the time value of money here. So $508,764.43. So the vast majority of your money came as interest. All right. So it's really important to start saving now for retirement because your money will grow exponentially over time here. I just wanted to go back and show you what happens if you don't, um, if you put this as a positive number. So like instead you had just done 200. And then when you went to solve here, it'll put the future value as negative. All right. So just realize like whenever you have a negative number in here, however you put it in, like that doesn't make sense. So just report it as a positive. All right, let's do one more quick one. All right. I'm going to flip it a little bit. All right. Suppose that once you complete your college education and begin working, you want to save $50,000 over 10 years to use as a down payment for a house. Okay, so what this is saying, what this problem is saying is, I want to have $50,000 in the future. Okay, that's what I want to save towards. So you anticipate making regular end of month deposits in an annuity that pays 8% compounded monthly. Okay, so the question is this: how much should you deposit each month? All right, well, let me clear out my calculator here. And I'm going to go back to the TVM solver. So the first thing you got to figure out is, what is it asking you? It's asking you how much you should deposit each month. So it's asking you to solve for PMT. It's asking you to solve for PMT. You got to recognize that immediately. All right, so let's figure this out. Capital N. I'm going to do monthly deposits for 10 years. That's what I said. I wanted to have $50,000 over 10 years. So 10 times 12, I'm going to make 120 payments. The interest rate I'm getting is 8%. Now the present value, well, how much do I start in the account with? Well, the account starts with 0 until I start saving. So I'm going to leave that as 0. PMT, I'm going to come back to that because I'm solving for it. And I want to have $50,000. Okay. And I'm going to do 12 payments per year. And it's compounded monthly, so 12 compounds per year. And I said it was end of month deposits. So all you're going to do is now you're going to go back to PMT and you're going to hit alpha solve. And notice, remember, it's going to report it as negative because the interpretation is like you're paying for it. So you're taking that money out of your account and putting it into this different one. So they interprets it as negative. But for our purposes, how much we're going to have to deposit each month is $273.30. Okay. Next question. How much of the $50,000 down payment comes from deposits? And how much comes from interest? Well, deposits. Well, I'm making a monthly payment of $273.30, 12 times per year for 10 years. So $273.30 times 12 times 10. I've deposited $32,796. So how much came from interest? Well, I have $50,000 in the account. Over 10 years, I've deposited $32,796. So let's see how much I got in interest. So 50,000 minus $32,796. I made $17,204 in interest. All right, I hope this quick review helped for you. And we'll follow this up with another quick review talking about what's called a payout annuity, in the sense that, oh, I've saved all this money. Now, how much can I take out?